My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Whether it's advice on managing your anxiety or tools to help you stay grounded, Coping-19 provides a range of resources and self-care tips to help you cope with this pandemic. We can help. Find the resources that work best for you at coping-19.org.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
To get to know each other
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
I don't think we're free in this country. For 100 years, you saw Black people menaced and targeted and lynched and beaten and brutalized. I think we're burdened by this history. You are obligated to do something to address that, or you become part of the problem. More people have to be willing to do that uncomfortable, inconvenient thing that justice requires for things to get better. We don't have to fear fairness. We don't have to fear equality. We don't have to fear doing the right thing. Truth can inspire change. Learn more at EJI.org.
What's more dangerous? A man who isn't afraid of death or one who's found everything to live for? I asked him if he was proud of me. He emphatically said yes, as he laid his pecan-colored head on my chest, and I went through my mind 1,000 times to figure out what that could possibly mean, and every single example ended in motivation for me. So you may not be afraid to die, but I'm more afraid to let them down. And I found something to live for, which is a dangerous motive forever fueled. See, your thoughts may be involuntary, but my actions are very calculated. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. My sons ain't raised by no coward, and they won't be one either. If this be the measure of a man, the yardstick gonna need way more meters. I take it too far, so they never come up short, because I found everything to live for.
The sun is shining, shining, nice and bright, bright. The birds are chirping, chirping, and I'm inside. Time to get ready, ready for another day. Hey, no one can stop us. Oh, we gon' learn to play. Oh, every day we learn and play. We do our best, so we'll be great. Oh, 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 oh. You do your best, best. And I don't mind. So let's get ready. 'Cause it's about that time.
didn't know I was by myself. Good morning. Today is, we on Wednesday? Today Tuesday or Wednesday? What's today?
Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday. Thank you. Today is Tuesday, March 16th.
What's up, Portia?
Hey, Custom, was good? We missed you last week and yesterday.
I appreciate it. Yep.
Yes.
Today is Tuesday.
Oh, I couldn't get it together. I'm like, we on Wednesday or Thursday? It's Tuesday though. It's Tuesday. It is Tuesday.
How you feeling this morning?
I am well. How are you?
I'm good. By the time I finish this first cup of coffee, I'll be great.
Yeah, me too. What's going on down there in the A?
Oh my gosh, Atlanta is pretty open. You know what I mean? Needless to say, over the weekend I went to Cascade skating rink with my girl on Sunday, and oh my gosh, you would think that COVID really just does not exist. I mean, we had our masks on, and but a lot of the young youth did not. It was a lot of people in there. I kind of low-key felt a little overwhelmed at times, but we was good.
You stayed?
Man, we stayed, yeah.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
I mean, I think it was just mainly just because my girl was enjoying herself and she was having fun.
Oh, good.
So, I mean, we probably stayed about an hour and a half because I got there like 10:30 and they closed at midnight. So we was there about an hour and a half.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's just the fact that I just was all them people just going around in a circle, and you know what I mean. Good thing is my girl, she's had both of her vaccinations. I have not, so I'm still kind of trying to listen. Well, I've had COVID, but I have not had the vaccine, so I need to get it together. I know. The rest of my family has already had theirs. My mom and my dad have had both of their shots. My sister just got her first shot last week, so I'm the last one to get it.
You better hurry up.
But they have, yeah, but they haven't been able to have them like they have not had it readily available for people in my age group just yet here in Atlanta. It's like everybody has been either frontline workers.
You better stop asking for permission and go get that damn shot. That's what you better do.
You right. You right.
From what I heard, ironically, I didn't know if I wanted to announce this, but I need to, right? I went and got my first one yesterday. Y'all.
That is dope.
So I'm still trying to kind of fill it out. My arm is a little sore. I actually took my mom with me, and so we both went and got our first shot yesterday. And yeah, we're working towards a vaccine full house. My arm hurt.
Nice.
So, yeah.
My sister said it feels like,
and I'm not gonna
yeah. No, I was just gonna say it felt like something you slept wrong on it, huh?
It feels like I strained it and was trying to pick up something heavy. So my arm feels heavy. And so one of the things that they tell you to do is continue to move it. And that's what I've been trying to do. It still hurts. At first I thought it was mental, but definitely by last night I was like, oh yeah, it hurt. And then by this morning, you know, I couldn't really sleep well. I don't know if it was mental that I was thinking about it hurt or if it really hurt me while I was asleep, whatever. I woke up, so I'm happy. But yeah, so they told me.
So go ahead.
No, they told us to come back in a month, so that was it.
So you said that you got a whole house full. You were saying that you were going towards getting your whole house fully vaccinated.
Yeah. So I don't know about the boys, right? So of course, eventually we need to get them vaccinated, but they're young and whatever. So I just don't know when we're gonna get them vaccinated. They were at their dad's yesterday, so they didn't, you know, they just end up not going with us. But we probably should get them vaccinated too. But you know, they teenagers, so
yeah.
I don't know.
This thing here is something crazy. Good thing is
We'll
we'll have
see.
somebody on today that's going to be able to explain a little bit more about COVID for us.
To vaccinate or not, we are having Dr. Karen Winkfield come on today at 9:30 to give us the answer. And I already made my choice, so I was scared. But she's gonna definitely be able to talk to you guys about you know, the benefits of taking it and the warnings for not taking it. She's going to be able to answer your questions. So make sure that you guys get your questions together before she comes on at 9:30. I will tell y'all exactly who she is. Dr. Karen Winkfield MD. So she's a medical doctor and she's a PhD. So that just says that she knows what the hell she's talking about. Okay. But she's the executive director of Meharry Vanderbilt Alliance. And she's going to be on talking to us today about whether or not you should vaccinate. You know, she wants to also talk about her goals to help improve health outcomes for underserved populations. And she's going to tell us about what she does as the executive director. So make sure that you guys get your questions together because she will be able to answer them. She's also going to do a subsequent health IQ. We just need to confirm all the details, and she'll be on for another hour with, of course, our publisher and CEO, Munson Steve. So I'm excited because I do have some questions like, girl, tell us what we should be doing. And why do we feel this apprehension about getting vaccinated? Like, so yesterday the line was super long, and I'm not gonna lie, in all transparency, I'm gonna just tell y'all my experience. So we pull up and it's supposed to be the last day to get vaccinations for this particular location, and anybody who showed up could get vaccinated. So I pull up and I'm thinking that it's going to be the drive-through method because a lot of people can go get vaccinated and stay in their car. And it might just be a 2-hour process, but you get to stay in the comfort of your car, and they come around to you, you know, as you drive up, they come around to you, give you the shot, let you sit in a little waiting area, and then you can leave. That wasn't my experience. So yesterday here in Detroit, it was probably 30 degrees. It snowed last night, so that's how damn cold it was outside. So we pull up to the place, and the guy is like, you know, once you pull around to the parking lot, you'll see the line. I'm thinking line for the car. No, we get there and it's a line of people outside. No lie, it's at least 100 people in line. And I got my mama with me. So I'm like, okay, Ma, I'm going to go stand outside in the line, and I'll call you when I get close to the door. So it literally took about 40 minutes standing outside in the cold. At least the sun was shining, but it was super cold. The wind was blowing. The line was moving slow. And that was it. So we finally got inside.
That is crazy.
We had to fill up. It was crazy. So we finally got inside. I called her up to the front. She probably had to stand outside for about 5 minutes. We get in, fill out the paperwork, and then they move you from station to station. So we got in. They, you know, asked us a couple questions, gave us the shot, and then let us sit for 15 minutes while they kind of monitored our progress, and then let us go. So
that's great.
Yeah.
That is great. I know a lot of people have been. Yeah, no, I know. That's what I was going to say. I know a lot of people who've been apprehensive about it. A lot of women that I speak to, their first sentiments are always just kind of like, how is this going to affect me in fertility, you know, and understanding like, what are the long-term effects of the vaccine? So it's a lot of different, you know, apprehensions that most people are going to have, especially as Black people, considering the fact of what has happened in the past, of course, when it comes to medicine and the Tuskegee experiment, and just people's lack of understanding and support and faith in the medical industry of America. And I can totally empathize because, you know, for the longest, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have not been, first off, it's a privilege to have a Black doctor and to have a Black doctor from birth to you know, to being an adult type of thing. So I feel like a lot of people, for one, if you don't have a Black doctor, then that automatically kind of puts you at a disadvantaged because you're listening to somebody who doesn't necessarily look, well, they don't look like you, but you don't necessarily know if they have your best interest at hand. They should, but you know, after they get their money and they go back to their community, they good. They don't really, in essence, you never know, put it like that. So
you're right. I had Black doctors deliver both of my babies, so I do understand what you're talking about. But finding like a Black PCP is like real far and few in between. Personal care physician. So anyway, so we'll get a chance to talk to her about those things. Make sure that y'all got y'all questions ready, especially those who may be apprehensive about taking the shot and a little scared and a little nervous and a little anxious. Y'all get y'all questions together. Whatever it is that y'all want to know, she'll make sure that she answers it. And like I said, she's an MD and a PhD. So y'all know what that means. Don't play with her.
Oh, yeah. Don't play with her.
Yes, that's exactly what that means. Don't play with her. I want to say good morning to Facebook. Hey, y'all. Hey, good morning to Rue Brooks. To Rue saying good morning, Portia Monique and Custom. D Shields, good morning, Portia Monique and Custom and everyone. Hey, girl. Hey. Demetrius Felton. We got Alvin, Randall, Wayne, Womack, Janice Simmons, Audrey Gilbert, Juanita Lipford Watson, Demetrius Kinsey, Katina Butler, Darnell Hupp. Y'all, good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up Call. We are happy and excited that y'all here with us today. Let's get into a little bit of these Oscar nominations. So Oscar nominations were dropped. And one of our favorite girls, right? So Viola Washington, she made history. I don't know if we have it up, but she made history because she was nominated again for Best Actress nominee for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Let me tell y'all something. If she don't win this damn award, y'all gonna have hell to pay with the Black community. That's all I'm saying. But
for sure.
So she made Oscar history with her 4th nomination. Now she's the most nominated Black actress ever and the only Black woman with 2 Best Actress nominations. So I'm gonna just tell y'all this: whoever is on the voting board, y'all better get it together. So I'm gonna tell y'all who she's up against in 1 second. Let me pull it up. So she's up for Best Actress, Best Actress in a not in the supporting role. Where's the best? Okay, Best Picture. Hold on, y'all. I'm pulling it up. Give me a second.
While you pull that up, I think it's really dope to make mention that Viola's being nominated for Best Actress and Chadwick is being nominated for Best Actor in the same movie. Chadwick Boseman's posthumous Oscar nominations put him in rare company. Despite him not being nominated for his past movies, he was recently rectified with Boseman's excuse me, I'm so sorry. It's still early. He was He was recently nominated for Best Actor as his ambitious jazz trumpeter in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. This puts Boseman in one of the rarest and most bittersweet Oscar categories, the posthumous acting nominee. We don't see too many of those, you know what I mean? Like, the mere fact that when most actors pass, unfortunately, that's beyond or past their career. But with him, you know what I mean? It happened very suddenly and very young, very young. At 43 years old. Wow, that's crazy.
So, yeah, everybody's rooting for him. I think he has a easier lift, so to speak, because he was so revered. He died so young. It was so sad and tragic that he died. And I think he was a hero. So I don't know, because of all of that, because of his story, I think that he's an easier lift to give the win to. That's just my prediction. So he is actor in the leading role. He's up against Riz Ahmed. Like, I don't even know what's the process to get these movies in, right? So he's up against Riz Ahmed for The Sound of Metal. Anybody seen that?
I have not.
Anthony Hopkins for The Father. Of course we know who Anthony Hopkins is. Gary Oldman for Mank. Anybody seen Mank? M-A-N-K. Mank is the name of the film.
Mank.
And Stephen Yeun, Y-E-U-N, Yeun, for Minari. Anybody seen that movie?
I think that's the he's the
Academy.
Yeah, he's the first. That's okay. So that right there, he say Oscars nominate the most diverse acting slate ever, including the first Asian American Best Actor. So that same gentleman is one of the first that they've added to the nominations. They have 9 actors of color that are actually nominated for these Best Actor and different other categories. So with that guy, Minari, that's Stephen Yeun, he became the first Asian American ever nominated for Best Actor. In that same category, Sound of Metal that we were speaking of, star Riz Ahmed became the first person of Pakistani descent ever nominated for any acting Oscar. And Yoon's Minari co-star Yoo Jong-young, a supporting actress nominee, is the first Korean person ever nominated for an acting Oscar.
Okay.
Wow.
Applause. However,
look at the Oscars trying to be, he's going to help
diverse, right? Right.
Yeah.
They over there trying to be diverse, and it's definitely a great thing. We definitely appreciate the diversity and inclusion. However, for actor in a leading role, it better go to Chadwick. That's all we saying. That's all.
We gonna know something. We gonna know something.
Oh. Yeah. Going back to Viola, y'all. So, actress in a leading role. Let me tell y'all who she's up against. I'm like, this is not fair. It's not fair. Even though she already has she won the Best Supporting Actress role for Fences in 2017 when she was co-starring with Denzel Washington, which was phenomenal. But she is up against Andra Day for The United States versus Billie Holiday, y'all. I just I don't know how that's fair, because I don't really know who to root for, right? Because Viola already has an award, an Academy Award. Andra Day is new on the scene. This is her first film. She was impeccable in The United States versus Billie Holiday. I don't want to shun her. I just don't think it's necessarily fair to put them in both categories. Okay? I'm just saying. So anyway, the other nominees include Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman. Have not seen that. Frances McDormand, Nomadland. Have not seen that. And Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman. Come on, y'all. What? Okay. That's all I'm going to
say. Yeah. Some of these, I'm just like, okay, so come on. Who? Y'all need to come better with these nominations a little bit.
Okay, so I'm glad you're here, Cousin, because you probably have a line of sight into how the process works, at least in terms of like music nominations and Grammys and all of these other award shows. We were talking about it a little bit yesterday, in the fact that your team is really the one who helps you win, right? So they know the process, they fill out all the paperwork, they make sure that you're qualified to even be in the running. How does it work for the Academy? I know we can go on their website and read down to the T and get a lawyer to explain it to us and all of this and all of that, but how does it work with these movie nominations, right? So for the go ahead, you tell us.
No, I was gonna say, to my knowledge, there's a panel. So the same way like in with the Grammys, there's a Grammy nomination panel, like there's a board, like they have the Academy, and from there, that's the way where it kind of gets murky, because it's the judgment is ultimately up to them. You know what I mean? A lot of people were feeling like The Weeknd and Lil Baby were snubbed when it came to Song of the Year, and because it got snatched by Meg Thee Stallion and Beyonce with Savage, and a lot of people feel like that was just a TikTok record and it wasn't really like a big record, but I mean it was big because of the numbers that it did, for sure. But the impact, I think that people think that maybe that Lil Baby song was a little bit more impactful, but ultimately what I'm saying, it is up to the panel and to the Academy and to those trusted board of trustees that's on their panel to kind of like, all right, these are the people that are making moves, and then they use the RAIAA, the certification. When it comes to the numbers portion of it, you know how people say, oh, I went double platinum. So it's like that, or they'll use, I believe maybe Nielsen is for ratings and for, or box office, excuse me. So, or they'll use the box office numbers. So I think that is all off a little bit more of like numbers and merits and things like that, meritocracy, but a little bit of it also is politics on the back end, like you said, and that you were alluding to, where people's team, you know what I mean? Like, you can't think that 300 and Rock Nation weren't behind the scenes pulling strings, making sure that Meg and Beyonce, because let's be honest, Beyonce's still attached to it. And Blue, exactly.
And
so
Blue.
I knew, right, and I know you guys made mention of yesterday about Beyonce being the top awarded person of the Grammy. She has a total of 28 now. Stevie Wonder, I think, was just coming up with the second with 25. Michael Jackson had 22. So that is amazing. Like, as a musician, hats off, because I'm still waiting for my one. I need my one for right now. But 28 is great. But
okay, yeah, 28 is great. She needs to do a discussion on how many she submitted versus how many she was actually nominated for versus how many she actually received, because I know it's a function of making sure that you submit all that you can. So, you know, when it comes to the fallout of I actually won 28, what was that pre-process like? Like, how many did you submit for? How many were you nominated for versus how many you won? Because from what I've read, and I probably need to look this up, but from what I read, she submitted way more and got nominated for way more and won, you know, just a smaller amount than what she was nominated for. So I mean, it sounds plausible. But I would like to know the statistics on that.
Yeah, no, and to add to that, the Grammys have become more strategic now when it comes to how to potentially, I don't want to say like, well, it is a strategy. There are different subcategories that most people don't necessarily know about. Like, you have electronic albums, you have alternative R&B albums, of course you got your gospel. I mean, you got your comedy albums, like Tiffany Haddish winning a Grammy because of her comedy album. I think a few years ago, it might have been Dave Chappelle who won one. So it's different ways to win a Grammy. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got a report on Tiffany Haddish, too. So, I don't know. Did y'all see her winning that Grammy? Oh, my God. It was so heartwarming, so heartfelt, so genuine and authentic. It brought me to tears. We'll play it in a second, but I just wanted to finish off the Oscars to see who else we know. That's code for black. That is up for an Oscar. Okay, so Best Picture, Judas and the Messiah. We don't know the rest of these other ones. But the category is Best Picture. Judas and the Black Messiah is up for an award. But they also have... So here's what we need to do. We need to go out and look at all these films to see what it is that they're talking about. So it's also The Father, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and The Trial of Chicago 7. What we also need to do, y'all, is figure out how in the hell do we get our pictures into the Academy so that they can be in the running for these type of films? Like, what's the criteria? Because right now it sounds real subjective to me. Anyway, actress in a supporting role. We don't know nobody in that one. We don't know nobody in that one.
You shady. We don't know them.
We don't no. But actor
Feel like Mariah Carey.
Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah. He's up for an Oscar. Yeah. And then Sacha Baron Cohen. Oh, look, Keith Stanfield. They put him in the same one, y'all. Oh my God.
Against Daniel?
Okay, so yes. Yes. So they're in the same category for nominations. Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya, actor in the supporting role. I don't know. That's a hard one.
That is very hard because both of them were very, very good. They were very, both polarizing as those actors.
Oh my God.
But Daniel was dope.
And
he bodied that. But go ahead.
Daniel was, yes, he was dope, but Lakeith was on his stuff. Like
He was.
like I know that he had to decompress and kind of just go out and take all of everything off of him, because that was a very heavy role to play.
For sure. And to add to that, I think I don't want to say it's well, here's the thing. It's a more accepting to play a hero, but what about having to go and play the adversary and to play at worst the informant, the villain, exactly, and preparing himself for that, because it's like that, like you said, you gotta really kind of like compartmentalize your own feelings and emotions about somebody who is nefarious like that, but for you to be able to play it because you know the enormity of what this movie and this role means in the history and the story, and you just being able to kind of like bring his whole story to life. That's amazing. That's the genius in acting.
Yes.
And I applaud that.
Oh my God, yes. So also in that category is Leslie Odom Jr., One Night in Miami. Leslie Odom Jr. played which character in One Night in Miami? He played which one did he play? Oh, he played Sam Cooke. He played Sam Cooke.
Yep, he did.
Good. Okay, so that's actor in the supporting role. I'm looking for somebody else that we know.
Nate for what's his for what is it? American Skin, that wasn't nominated for anything?
No. Nate Parker, no.
Yeah, man. See, they should have they did my guy Nate wrong. He should have got something for that, because that was a great role.
But it was great. But it also goes back to the process, like, was the film done in time? What's that criteria? I'm gonna look that up.
Right.
No.
I'm looking it up too.
Yeah. So also original song "Fight for You," Judas and the Black Messiah. Okay, and then "Speak Now" from One Night in Miami. All right. Animated. All right, animated feature film. Y'all better win. Soul with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
There is a really funny interview. It's a really fun and funny interview on rollingup.com. I interviewed Jamie Foxx for that film, and it was cool. Okay, and then adapted screenplay. Okay, Regina King, you better come through with One Night in Miami. Okay. And then who else? Original screenplay, Judas and the Black Messiah. Yes. Chadwick Boseman, of course, we talked about that. We talked about Viola and Andra. Director, I don't see nobody we know. Production design, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Cinematography, Judas and the Black Messiah. This movie keeps coming up, The Trial of the Chicago 7. We need to go see what that's about.
We do need to go see that.
Yes, and yes. So costume design, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, and Mulan. I guess we need to check out Mank too, because Mank is all over the place. Achievement and sound, Mank is up. And then, of course, Soul again. I'm looking for somebody else that we know. I don't see. Oh, The Five Bloods is up for original score. Shout out to Spike Lee. And he's up against Soul. So we'll see who wins in that category.
They keep putting our folks against each other. I don't like that. Let us just have that category and let him go ahead and body that, and put him in another one and body that. So I looked up some of the criteria. Yeah. I looked up some of the criteria for being able to be possibly nominated. So they're saying the Film Academy has established 4 broad representation categories: on screen, among the crew, at the studio, and in opportunities for training and advancement in other aspects of the film's development and release. To be considered for Best Picture, films will have to meet 2 of the 4 new standards the Academy say. Each standard has detailed subcategories as well. To meet the on-screen representation standard, a film must either have at least one lead character or a significant supporting character be from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group. At least 30% of secondary roles must be from 2 underrepresented groups, or the main storyline, theme, or narrative must be focused on an underrepresented group. According to the Academy, underrepresented groups include women, people of color, LGBTQ plus people, or people with disabilities. Okay. The Best Picture Award,
Sound
which
real
is handed out,
subjective.
very subjective.
It just okay. So you got to have a few people of diverse background in your film. Okay, got it. But what else?
Well,
Like, there's no
see,
hard.
yeah, and thing. Here's my thing about that is, it's like, honestly speaking, that's a slippery slope, and I'm gonna use my words carefully, but I feel as though with you kind of like putting that in broad, bold terms, it may be sending the wrong signals to certain people who may not be, well, they might be just a little bit more disingenuous than those that are really trying to have an altruistic approach and creating this because they're really trying to advocate for the disenfranchised or the underrepresented. Because what I'm saying is, you may have certain large corporations that are just using the veil of inclusivity and using these poster minorities as poster childs to sell their records, or to sell their songs, or to sell their movies or
Films.
clothing,
Yeah.
or films. And I don't
Mhm.
think that that's what is like, because I was having this conversation with my girl the other day, and I don't think she really kind of understood where I was trying to come from, this point of view, and like kind of providing, because I'm like,
Mhm.
nowadays it's starting to see it in so many different films to where it's like, okay, are you just picking this because it's cool and you know it's going to get like publicity, or are you really for the cause and you're really trying to push this and not use it as like a token filler of, okay, I'm checking the box off.
Right. Yeah. And that's what it seems as if we're seeing nowadays. Just box checking. Yep, we got that. But going back to what you just read in terms of the criteria, let me tell you what I heard. Your movie must have people in it. Like, that's what I heard. Your movie must have people in it, and you need to have a woman. You need to have somebody of a other ethnicity, and it needs to be maybe 4 or 5. But I'm like, what film don't have 4 or 5 people? Okay, I got you. But anyway, it still doesn't explain how all of these other films that we never hear of get in the running for the Oscars. So it's interesting to see. That last category was for makeup and hairstyling, and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is up for it. So anyway, moving on. We're gonna keep an eye on that. We are definitely excited for Ma Rainey, for Judas and the Black Messiah, for Billie Holiday and Lee Daniels, for Spike Lee as well. And so y'all, we got fingers crossed. We will rooting for everybody black. That's what we're gonna do.
Say that.
Yes. D Shield said, bravo on that Truth on Inclusive Antics custom. Yes, absolutely. She also said strategic Andra may not win against Viola. Yeah. And Manny is back, y'all. Good morning, Manny. And why
What up, Manny?
only got 1 rose today? Like, what's going on? Like, was there a shortage on roses? Like, I can only get 1 today? Like, usually I have 12, but you just gonna give me 1 today. Yeah, I said it. Give me the rest of my roses.
Give me my dozen. That was to say, give me my dozen.
You know what I'm saying? Give me my dozen. Don't do that. Anyway, he talking about what up, though, and I'll be trying to reference Detroit. What up, dog? What up, Manny? Anyway, moving on. Let's move to Tiffany Haddish, y'all. So let's go step back to the Grammys just a little bit and talk about Tiffany Haddish. Did you guys see the way that she found out that she won a Grammy? like I said, it was heartfelt, it was genuine, it was authentic. It basically made me cry when I was watching it. Y'all don't have to trust me. Watch for yourself. Let's go ahead and play the video. Let's just go ahead and play the video. Oh my God. Go ahead.
I'm just happy with being nominated personally.
I've been nominated a couple times.
You say what?
You've been nominated a couple times.
Yeah, I've been nominated a couple of times for some things.
But I just
and
won
I
a Grammy.
I just what?
You just won a Grammy.
Just love being nominated.
I just won a Grammy?
No.
Are you serious?
I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth.
I mean, wait. Y'all see this thing in my ear? Y'all see this in my ear?
Tell them all you just won a Grammy. Congratulations. You just won the best comedy album.
Y'all serious?
I'm serious. There's no lie. This is for real.
I really won?
Woo.
You know, a black woman hasn't won in that category since 1986?
Yes, I learned that from Black History.
Yeah, a black woman hasn't won for best comedy album since Whoopi Goldberg. Can I tell you why I'm crying?
Why?
It's a lot of bumpy roads that you cross, right? And it's a lot of times you feel like, well, am I doing the right thing? Is this good enough? Am I good enough? Am I strong enough to do this job? And then you just have to believe in yourself as much as you can. And against all odds, you just say, you know what? I'm gonna just put my best foot forward and I'm gonna give the world the best that I got, right? Mm-hmm. Anything is possible. So, thank you.
Oh, y'all tell me that didn't make y'all tear up just one little bit.
All jokes aside, that was amazing. All jokes aside, that was amazing. I really did, because here's the deal. I can feel her. I feel for her because as somebody who's in the industry and still aspiring to reach, high pivotal points, she did not lie to those little girls and telling them like, hey, as a black person and even as a black woman, there's certain hurdles and challenges that you got to face and that you got to go through, and you just got to put your best foot forward. And I love the fact that, like you said, that was so heartfelt. She really, really was meaning that. It was really genuine, to the point where I'm sure she was just like, y'all playing with me. Like, y'all for real? I won a Grammy? She couldn't even believe it, but I love it.
Yes, definitely. You felt her on that. Like, you couldn't help but to be happy for her. And here's my thing. If y'all don't have friends that are excited as those little girls were, clapping for her and rooting her on and making sure that they had her back, y'all need some new friends. Throw the friends back that you got. Get you a new circle, because them little girls were genuinely happy for her and excited for her. And that's how your friends should be as well. If you don't have no friends rooting you on like them little girls was rooting on Tiffany and they probably didn't know her from a can of paint, then you need to get you some new friends, because they were genuinely happy. Like, those are the type of friends that you need in your life. Those are the type of friends that you need in your circle. You need somebody that is in your circle that's not jealous, that's truly and genuinely happy for you and excited, and they show it. She was on TV about to cry, y'all. About to cry.
She
and
really
the little
was.
girls were so happy for her. Oh my God.
They really were. And then the little girl was like, I know, we learned that in my Black History class. I was like, yeah, better say that.
Yes.
Say that. Yeah.
Yes, learn about Black history. And then
absolutely
the analogy that she used, like, you gonna have some bumpy roads. Like, she broke it down so elementary for them to just simply understand, but it rang so true for everybody in life. Let me tell y'all something, okay? Life ain't always no crystal stairs, y'all. Let me don't get me to quote poetry, okay? Because April is poetry month. But life ain't no crystal stair. And like she told them little girls, you gonna have some bumps in it. But if you put your best foot forward and you show up to the world, and you give them all you got, and you do the best job that you know how to do, listen, it's gonna be worth it. So I think that's what my positive thought of the day is going to be. It's definitely going to be dedicated to Tiffany Haddish, and just her. She was so grateful. Her gratitude, all of it, y'all.
Facts. And it was so interesting because in my adult mind, I could really just see her kind of like probably wanting to like emphatically curse, but she knew she couldn't do that in front of them little kids. And I could just see her kind of like holding it back and just like, okay, keep it PG. These is like 7-year-olds. I gotta, you know what I mean? I can't drop the F-bomb. I can't can't curse out folks and say all of the, you know what I mean, the things that she probably wanted to say, learning about that. Like these people, these, you know what I mean? Like I can only imagine. So that was hilarious. In my mind, I know that that's probably not really what was supposed to be analogous with what was going on, but that was how I was thinking of it from. But also, I mean, yeah, man, dealing with that what is it, imposter syndrome, which she kind of was speaking of, that definitely kind of is something that is innate, that happens, and it's real. So I love that positive thought. So I mean, I think that's dope. Putting your best foot forward, regardless of what was happening on that road, that bumpy road ahead of you.
Regardless, listen, like
Mhm.
it's gonna be some bumps in the road. Life ain't always been no crystal stair, son. Like, listen, it got nails in it. It got, listen, don't have me bring up my little poem because I will do a whole soliloquy for my positive thought. Y'all talk about 30 seconds. No, let me pull it up.
Go ahead.
Langston Hughes. Don't get me started. Don't do that because we did learn just a little bit of we did learn just a little bit of Black history sometimes in school. Life ain't always been no crystal stair. Don't do that, y'all.
That is
Y'all
real.
ready for it? Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. I did win an oratorical contest before, y'all.
Me too. Me too. I thought I was on. Listen, I've done a few in my day as well. Yeah.
You know, yes, and yes. Should I go for it? Okay. I'll leave it for
Go ahead.
positive thoughts. No, I'll leave it for, let me see what Facebook talking about, because you know Facebook be going hard on me. What they talking about? Good morning, Kamiko. Hey girl, hey. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, everyone. Larry Martin, Daily Bread. Hey, Daily Bread. Good morning, everyone. Joseph Smith, Ty Oliver. Anyway, I'm not gonna read it. I'm gonna save it for positive thoughts. But I do just want y'all to know that life ain't been no crystal stair, because it had tacks and it had splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor, bare.
Yes.
But all
Better
the
say
time,
that. Say that.
I've been a climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on the steps, because you finds it kind of hard. Don't you fall now. Listen, give me an Academy Award. I ain't even done. I'm about to start crying, y'all. But I still going, honey. I still climbing, and life for me ain't been no crystal stair. I felt that in my soul, y'all. I felt that in my soul. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, Jean. Jean talking
What'd she
about
say?
how about I Too Am America by Langston Hughes. Y'all about to make me pull up my poetry. It's not even poetry month yet.
About to get the snapping.
Listen, you know what I'm saying?
Snap.
And this
Yeah.
rings so true for me, because I need to tell my sons, like, well, son, I tell you. Listen, that just brought back a flood of memories. Okay. I'm done, y'all. I'm done. I'm done. I love that poem. So what else
You
we
want to
talking
go?
about?
What's new in the news?
Hold on. We got haters in the comments. Wait a minute, Custom.
What they saying about?
Flag on the play. Why is King James in the comments talking about no Academy Award, Portia? We give you a padded room. Stay out the comments, Terry. Be nice.
He said,
I
"Give you a
an
padded
Academy
room."
Award for that. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Custom.
That is hilarious. So no. I was just saying, more what's in the news. You know what I mean? The baby reveals he asked JoJo Siwa to perform with him at the Grammys. I don't know if you guys recall, but the baby put some line or alluded to JoJo Siwa in one of his freestyles, and fans just took it completely out of context, which they should have, because the baby kind of just went out of pocket and just said JoJo Siwa just for clout or clickbait, you know what I mean, purposes, because it really didn't have any relevance to the song. So apparently he tried to make right with her, and he says, well, they say, following their extremely short-lived beef, which all stemmed from a misunderstanding in the first place, the baby has revealed that he reached out to JoJo Siwa prior to the Grammys to ask if she'd perform with him. As he strolled down the red carpet with his mom right by his side, the baby commented on his so-called feud with the children's star, admitting what happened between them behind the scenes afterwards. If you recall, this stems, like I was saying, from the baby using her in some form of wordplay. But it ended with the Carolina fan all over the internet to think that he was dissing the 17-year-old. But after his name stated trending or whatever like that, but to calm down the commotion, the baby laughed off anyone thinking he could diss Siwa, even going to clarify that his daughter even listens to JoJo Siwa. But apparently, as we see, she didn't show up at the Grammys. She didn't really take the unwanted apology. I mean, she's good. She's JoJo Siwa. Like, she don't need the baby money. She got the mama money. You know what I mean? Like, JoJo Siwa is straight. So, but hey, we'll see.
You lost me on this. Okay, because I guess I just don't know.
So apparently, the baby put out a freestyle maybe about last month or so. And JoJo Siwa, you know, is the adolescent, young teenage girl that a lot of fans and young girls look to and listen to. The little white girl that does like real kind of bright poppy, you know, cheerleader sound of music. And so the baby said,
she's a YouTube. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
she's
a YouTuber.
Had the really big mom. The what was the name of that show? So she's a YouTube personality. She's known for appearing in 2 seasons of Dance Moms, along with her mother, Jesselyn Siwa. So that's not her. Okay, and she got singles Boomerang and Kid in a Candy Store. She's only 17. That's why I have no idea who she is. But go ahead.
So yeah, so I mean, but she's huge on the kid circuit. You know what I mean? And it was even more, I guess, impactful because maybe about earlier this year, she came out that she was gay. And I think that part was a little bit, kind of shocking to say the least, because it's like, okay, now you got this million fan base of young, impressionable teenage girls, and that was a little shocking. But nonetheless, this whole conversation stemmed from the baby using her name in a line to try to make a bar fit, and that's where all of the misunderstanding came from. So apparently Mr. DaBaby tried to make right by inviting her to perform with him at the Grammys, but you know, she turned it down. She said, I'm good, you know what I mean? DaBaby. Okay, right. Right. What else y'all want to know about?
What did producer TJ say? He said Maxine and he was talking about us. We can go to Anita Baker, news in Detroit, y'all. So apparently Anita Baker took to the social media to basically ask her fans not to stream and or buy her music based on she said the Detroit-based icon posted on Twitter last week that she outlived all of her recording contracts and that the right to her masters should legally revert to her. So she's fighting for her masters, y'all. And she's asking all of her fans not to stream her music and or listen to, maybe stream. We could still listen to it, right? Because we love you. They say something, girl, we love you. So we still want to listen to it. So I don't necessarily know if we're not going to not listen to it. But anyway, she's referencing copyright reversion, which allows musicians to retain their copyrights after 35 years. However, the law doesn't mean that the reversion is immediate or automatic. According to the Future of Music Coalition, a music education and advocacy group, per their website, there are steps that a musician must take to regain their copyrights under law. So she's 63. She says that the time is up and that until she can regain those copyrights, she wants her fans to avoid her music, which includes 7 studio albums and 1 live album. They include classic releases such as The Songstress, Rapture. Y'all, hold on. Is my mic on? Testing, 1, 2. don't get me started. The Songstress, Rapture compositions, Sweet Love. Okay, Sweet Love, Caught Up in the Rapture, giving you the that I got. I felt that song in my soul, y'all. Baby. Okay. Okay.
But you got me jamming. Might have to go stream it.
So she took to Twitter, and this is what she said on Twitter. You can find us on her Twitter page. Miraculously, I have outlived all of my artist contracts. They are no longer own my name and likeness. They no longer own my name and likeness. And by law, 30-year-old masters are to be returned to me. So she's writing us with numbers and letters. So I'm trying to read it right, y'all. So it's not TOBE. It's the number 2 and the letter B. So, and nonetheless, masters are to be returned to me. Unfortunately, they're gonna make me fight for it. I'm prepared to do that. Please don't advertise. She said, don't buy the music. Oh God. So, a fan went on and basically said, let me just get this right. So she said, when fans questioned the directive, Baker schooled a few on the finances of the music business in the 90s that the late artist Prince, one of the most prolific musicians of his era, publicly fought his record label, Warner Brothers, for the rights to his masters and recordings. And most record deals, master recordings are not owned by the artist outright. Although artists make the music, in the complex financing of the music industry, artists are advanced money to record and promote their albums. This is basically a loan that they pay back through record sales. However, royalties continue to be paid out long after artists are commercially viable, and that is the essence of why artists try to negotiate their contracts to get the rights to these earnings before the copyright law is up. In addition, in her response to a fan who she said dedicated a Spotify playlist to her, Baker echoed Prince, who famously didn't allow his music on YouTube and had not only done a streaming deal with Tidal before his passing in 2016 because of Jay-Z's ownership stake. So she retorted to the fan after the fan said, I love you so much. I made a playlist in your honor, yada, yada, yada. Anita Baker said, let me tell y'all something. Don't call me sweetheart. I hate it. I hate sweetheart. I hate sweetie. I hate honey. I hate all of it. Don't do it. But Anita Baker said, hello, sweetheart. She said,
gathered.
Thank you for, listen, she was like, thank you for sending this to me, your love. But let's not advertise Spotify streaming, which is a publicly trading company with a $50 million valuation, but doesn't pay artists and or creators what their worth is. So thank you, but don't do it.
Right. Don't come for Auntie.
Hello, sweetheart. Wow. So she went on to school them, and she told them how much they was getting paid. It's not even a penny, 1/3 of a penny, half of a penny per stream for artists, minus fees, taxes, etc., etc. She said to leave me alone, for real. All right, leave Auntie alone. Don't stream her music. She not getting paid. She want her masters back, for real.
Streaming dollars be low. I'm trying to tell you, that fraction of a penny, you got to do millions on millions to get $1,000 basically, like if that much. People ain't really, you know what I mean? Like the streaming checks ain't really worried about it. Yeah, that's why you see everybody coming out with brand like partnerships and collaborations, and you know, shoot, I can tell why Rihanna ain't put out an album. Savage Fenty is doing way too good and successful, and being so successful to the point of why go and deter from making millions off of everything that she's doing within her endeavors, to go and sit for 6 months to a year in the studio to create an album to go and compete amongst streaming sales of getting fractions on the penny. Um,
Yeah.
that's just my own business logic, but yeah, I mean, Auntie got a point. So she said it best. $50 million evaluated
hate,
company.
yeah, I hate that. Going into it years ago, we were just miseducated on the business of the music industry, and a lot of our favorite artists got the short end of the short end of the stick when it came to contracts, and it's just sad, But nowadays, y'all better do y'all homework. Y'all better make sure that y'all understand what the contracts are, what they entail. Make sure that you're getting your just due, and or just go independent at the end of the day. Social
And
media is
invest in a good,
viral.
yeah, and invest in a great, great representation, and know that how much do you trust this person that's looking over your information to tell you what it is. It's like a mechanic. If you got you a mechanic that, for one, knows what they're doing and is certified to work on certain vehicles, then you already know that they have the intellect to be able to create to be able to understand the inner workings of that.
Yeah.
But also you got to trust that this person isn't a janky mechanic that's going to say, oh yeah, you need to get such and such and such, because they understand it and you don't, and allow you to be out here with a broken carburetor or a transmission going bad, or your bad engine, or selling you at worst a bad car because they want to make more of a commission off of it. So same difference. But yeah, you got to just make sure you know your stuff.
Going to Facebook, Kathleen jumped in. King James is still hating. I'm not even gonna read his comment. He shouldn't be so hateful. He just but nonetheless, Kathleen jumped in the conversation. She said Anita has had issues with her catalog for the longest. Yep, we know we're in Detroit, and she won't even come to Detroit to do a damn concert. We waiting, girl. She didn't come. So anyway, D Shield said artists must admit they did not have the business tools to make the right decisions back then. They are now aware, and we wish them well to get their due coins. Get your due coins, boo. Kathleen also jumped in and said Anita's husband, I believe, was her producer and manager. So we know she divorced him. So I don't know what happened with that. I'm sure he was the subject of her sweet love song and giving you the best I got. So we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. But I hope everything works out for her in the end, and I hope she gets her coins, and I hope she's able to teach the next generation about what not to do. Period. Point blank. So, don't stream her music if you already have, I don't know, a CD. Is that anxious? Is the CD anxious? I don't know. So if you got
much.
a CD.
When was the last time you used a CD? Right. When was the last time you used a CD?
I don't know. One of the media houses, I'm not going to call them out, but why they send me a DVD of a movie? And I'm like, what am I supposed to play this on? What am I supposed to play this on? My Mac don't take nothing. I don't have a DVD player. What am I supposed to play this on, y'all? I should have called them back and said, can y'all send a DVD player to go along with this? A Blu-ray player or something? I don't even know.
They could have just sent you a damn link. Yeah, it's like, send me a link and a password code for me to be able to get into it and access it. That's what we need. Not you sending me.
Right.
See,
it's a new movie that came out either this year or last year. I'm not going to say the name of the movie. But I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm not. I'm not going to say the movie. I still haven't seen it, but I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? They still make DVDs? Okay.
They apparently do. I mean, they sell them in the little dollar bin at Walmart.
But
it'd be like $5 movie. I'm not sitting there. Like, I remember one time my dad was telling me, he was excited. He was just like, they were trying to sell me like a box of DVDs, and I was about to buy it. I'm like, Dad, that's Netflix. Netflix is the exact same thing. Just get you to Netflix, which we do, but Netflix is everything on demand and not necessarily having to have. Remember back in the day when people used to be so like proud of their DVD and CD collection. Like I remember being in the car with somebody and they pull out that big, my sister had one of those big catalog full of CDs and be like, hold on, what you want to listen to today? And flip it and be hoping that the CD wasn't scratched so it wouldn't start skipping. Listen, I go on my Apple iTunes and just scroll for days. And I got all of them right here. Don't you love the times? That is amazing. It's amazing.
Absolutely. So moving on in other news, y'all want to hear about The Bachelor? Anybody want to hear about The Bachelor? Anybody? So y'all know The Bachelor had a black contestant, black guy, Matt James was his name. Anybody interested? The finale aired last night. Anybody on
I didn't
Facebook
watch
interested?
it, but
I didn't watch it either. Anybody interested? Okay. Anyway. So The Bachelor, Matt James. So I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with it, but so there was a lot of controversy this season, and one of the contestants, her name was Rachel Kirkconnell. She came against backlash because in 2018 she attended a antebellum type of party in college, and of course it's racist. I don't know, right? Because this was the first time that I've ever heard about a party like this. So I'm like, well, maybe she really didn't know. I don't know. I've never heard about the party, but maybe she did. I don't know. It was an antebellum type of party where they got dressed up like, back in the South in slavery days and all that. So nonetheless, people were calling for her to be removed from the show. The show's producer and or host, what was his name? Chris, you don't keep up with it. Chris.
I know what you said.
Harrison.
Okay. Yeah, I know the guy, but I don't know his name. But continue. My bad.
Okay, so Chris Harrison, he went on and he came against Backfire because he went up with Rachel Lindsay, who was the first black bachelorette, and they had a conversation on air about whether or not Rachel Kirkconnell should be removed from the show because of her antics in 2018 when she attended the party. Chris was the host. He's a Caucasian host. He came to Rachel's defense. Rachel is the woman that attended the antebellum party, and he said she probably didn't know, this was back in 2018. She was in college. Sometimes in college we do certain stuff. Basically he was trying to excuse her behavior. He actually got excused from the show. And D is saying that he is not going to return for next season. Chris Harrison is not going to return for next season. He came under heavy fire after defending her past discussion, after defending Rachel Kirkconnell. Moving on. I'm trying to bring y'all up to speed. Moving on. The Bachelor, who's Matt James, he actually picked Rachel, which was the woman who had all of the controversy surrounding her. And this must have been calculated because it says he picked Rachel during the finale, and though he didn't propose, the couple seemed happy about their future together. However, after the show's production ended, before Monday's final rose, old social media posts came back up about the Confederate flag and Rachel, pro-Trump material, and even photos at her college antebellum party celebrating the South's racist past surfaced again, allegedly. Come on now, y'all. Okay. They came face to face in an awkward meeting where she apologized and Matt shared the two were no longer a couple. Womp, womp, womp. He chose Rachel. On the finale, he dumped her, basically, is what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
See. Yeah. I'm glad they got a black man up there, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you find
that's the long and short of it? He chose the girl that was the controversy over everything, and then on the show he dumped her and basically said he couldn't be with her. But you knew that from jump, so okay, go ahead. Next.
Yeah, you knew it. As in the words of Malcolm, the chickens have come home to roost. You knew that was going to happen, my guy.
Listen.
Yeah.
I'm I want to tell you, I want to report, I am done with my Malcolm book, and Malcolm is that guy that will make you go real militant real quick. That was pre-woke Malcolm, right? So pre-woke Malcolm, I had you fired up.
You will. So you finished the whole book?
I finished it. Pre-woke Malcolm will have you ready to fight.
Everybody.
Who want it? You can get it, and you can get it too.
For sure.
Damn, Malcolm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a James Baldwin quote. He said, to be a Negro and to be always in a stage of consciousness is to be enraged all the time. And I might have paraphrased, but that's how sometimes I be feeling. Like, it's like when you be woke and you be thinking about certain stuff and you be conscious about things and that third eye is winking, it's like, okay, now y'all don't play with me today. Yeah.
Yes. Pre-woke Malcolm was like, listen, it said, so are all white people evil? Yes. Damn.
Yeah. They the devil. That's what he was saying. Yeah. Malcolm said it.
Devils? Yes. Under no uncertain terms. Okay. Anyway, going back to The Bachelor to close it out, because I really didn't want to talk about The Bachelor. Anyway, comment says, D. Shield said that Chris Harrison, which was the show's Caucasian host, will not return. Terry Shropshire said, these folks always have excuses for their redneck racism. Did she also have diabetes?
That is hilarious.
That's in reference to the coach who basically called the I think it was basketball squad NIGGAS, and basically blamed it on his diabetes and said my sugar was high, so that's why I had a lapse in judgment and I called them some ninjas. Okay. Anyway, that was funny.
My sugar was low. I needed a crunch bar.
Yeah.
Damn.
So D. Shield says, scripted drama took ages to hire a black man. Goodbye to the entire series. Kathleen says, so he will be recycled and reappear, of course. Hey, Memphis. Hey, Marcus, checking in from Memphis. And D. Shields is laughing along with us. Yes. She may have had diabetes because she probably had a lapse in judgment. And that's why, she went to that party. And she was pro-Trump. And she had, all these racist antics. Anyway, moving on.
Go ahead, sing it. You was
Don't-
about to say
don't
something about
encourage
Stacy?
me. Don't encourage me. don't encourage me, because you know I will. Okay.
That note was really like, I was like, okay.
Yeah, okay.
It was that soprano in the choir.
Yes, it is.
I be knowing my stuff.
You know it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into Stacey Dash, y'all. Stacey Dash says she ready to date black men again. Who here for it?
We don't
Anybody
want
here
her.
for it?
We don't want her. She for the streets. She for the streets.
Stacey Dash has made an announcement that she is ready to start dating black men again. Anybody want her? Anybody. So she's hoping to get back in the good graces of the black community, and she hopes that she can find a good black man while she's at it. Ooh.
Listen,
what y'all think about that?
I feel like she's running off of the trails and the coattail of the real Stacey Abrams, and now she wants to come back home because she has seen what a real Stacey has done to advocate for her people. So now she want to come back home. Listen, sister, you made your decision when you said what you said before, and you made your bed in it, and we don't want to sleep in it with you. So we good. I know I'm not speaking for all of my, black fellas and black men that are, amongst us, but I know personally, I would feel kind of like producer TJ said, she's tainted. She's like, it's just, what I mean? I'm good. I'm good on that. Like, I think her conversation, even alone, even if you were to give her a chance, this is what I'm gonna say. Even if we say if you took her to a restaurant, you sitting there at STK, and y'all sitting. I feel like she'll have the most bland conversation ever, and she'll just be sitting there like, so, like, you know what I mean? Like something very superficial. And I'm like, okay,
Like
listen,
clueless.
baby, you might be, yeah. I'm like, you might be a cute person to sit across from, but after that, that's pretty much it, because there is no allure to you that makes me feel enticed or attracted or stimulated. I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say about
Okay, well, so they have someone is talking to a top Hollywood insider, was talking to Media Takeout News, and basically said Stacey is trying to make a comeback to the Black community. Her rep tried to set her up on a date with a insert B-list Black actor. Don't do that, y'all. She not worthy to date an A-list Black actor. Like, y'all funny. Don't do that, y'all. This
She got to move her way back up. She got to start at a D-League basketball player.
Don't do
Yeah.
that. Okay. So she's looking for a date with a B-list Black actor. They didn't name who it was. They just said B-list Black actor. It's a publicity stunt, but she's doing it so that Black people could like her again. Republicans are done with her, and the rent has to be paid. Oh my God, Stacey. Oh
That's
my
exactly
God.
what it is. Yeah. The
So in
Republicans
her
is done with your ass.
Right. In her defense, she said that anger is what drove her political stance and motivated her to be a conservative media contributor. Anger. So she might have diabetes too, King James. I don't know. So she said, I live
Her
my
sugar
life
was low.
being angry, which is not what I was. No, I'm sorry. She said, I lived my life being angry, which is what I was on Fox News. She says she currently stars in the Nick Loeb directed drama Roe versus Wade. I didn't hear about that one. But she said, I was an angry conservative Black woman. And at that time of my life, it was who I was. I realized in 2016 that anger is unsustainable and it will destroy you. I made a lot of mistakes because of that anger. And it goes on to say that she was dropped as a pundit in 2017. I don't know.
Good. I wouldn't be surprised if she came out with a dating show.
Yeah, it says not offering specifics. But she said things that I did say that I should not have said to them. The way I said them, I'm sorry. She said they were very arrogant and prideful and angry, and that's who Stacey was. Now she's talking in the third person. That's who Stacey was. But that's not who Stacey is now. Stacey is someone who has compassion and empathy and talks in the third person. All right, y'all.
Wow.
Are y'all here for
I'm
it?
okay.
Anybody want to date Stacey? Custom.
I'm good.
You
I'm
ready
good.
for it?
I'm good.
You don't want to date Stacey? So Brent jumped in the conversation. Brent said Stacey can continue to kick boulders, not rocks. She gotta kick boulders. Says she's on a permanent Black block by our community. Oh, so she can't come to the barbecue.
She is not even welcome. No.
Wait a minute. Jean stepped in the conversation. Jean said maybe she and Wesley Snipes. She said maybe Wesley Snipes will have her. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. Stacey Dash enough. Candace Owens and you can go overseas to date. Men are not for you, period. Stacey Dash can't come to the cookout. She can't even bring potato salad. Yeah. Hell no. All right, y'all.
Nope. She gonna put craisins and raisins in that joint.
Yeah. That's disgusting. So
awful.
Yeah, that is awful. So Stacey is still blocked. She can't come, nor can Candace Owens. Nor can who else?
Tommy.
Who else, y'all?
Tommy Lahare, something. The little white girl that Cardi B was saying she was gonna dog walk. Tommy. Damn it, what's her name? Tommy Laharen or something. I think that's her name. What's it?
Oh, Tommy Lauren.
Tommy Lauren, yeah. Yeah. She can go ahead on too. I'm good on all of them.
No, she said it was Tommy Lauren. She said she was gonna dog walk her, but that was a minute ago.
A while ago. Yeah. But nah. Yeah, it's a lot. I really don't. I can't see that coming back. I can't respect it because it's like once you leave and you turn your back on your people and you go to some other folks that will never be your people and were never your people, and then now all of a sudden, okay, once you realize that you're not gonna get the validation and respect and acceptance from a whole nother people, now you want to come back. No, I don't work like that. It's okay.
Don't work
We
like
good.
that,
We good.
Don't work like that. Jean said
Yeah.
Ben Carson, Ben and Stacey can date. That's a good matchup. I do.
They have a lot. They'll probably have a lot to talk about. They'll have a lot in common.
Yeah. So anyway, she's canceled. That's fine. We'll go.
And lastly,
So,
I think before we drop, I'm just curious now that I'm thinking about it. It's like, okay, so since now you're coming back to the Black community, so-called, are you coming back with Democratic thought process, or are you still going to have the same conservative Republican like identity and thought? You know what I mean? How does that work? You know, like now that you've changed over this whole new leaf and done a complete 180, does that mean that you no longer are feeling those same type of ways about Black people that you thought about? I don't know. That.
She said
Yeah.
that was the old Stacey. She said, I was very arrogant, very prideful, and and angry. She said that's who Stacey was. She was talking in third person. That's who Stacey was, but that's not who Stacey is now. Stacey is someone who has
That sounds like
empathy. She just wanted to let y'all know.
Yes. Yeah, that sounds like self-hate. That's what that is. That's self-hate. Sister, you gotta get past your own insecurities, but we could drop that. We could dead that.
Well, that comes from, being the it girl in the 90s or whenever she was the it girl, the 2000s, whenever her movie came out, and thinking she could stay there for life. Like you should just be humble. It always works out better than being arrogant. So
Just be humble.
anyway, Custom, you gotta go.
I do. I gotta leave you guys today. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I appreciate all of the love from the Facebook family, and I always have a great time, you know what I mean, when we up here this morning, rolling out and waking everybody up. So I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys next week. I am actually going out of town on Thursday, so I'll be out of the country. So I needed a little break, a little vacation. Thank you. I will be having both my masks on.
Wait a minute, how you going out the country and you're the only one that's not vaccinated? You better get at least your first one, but they say it takes 2 weeks to work. But get vaccinated.
We'll see.
Okay. Anyway,
I will be. All
have
right.
fun.
We'll see y'all.
Have fun. We'll
Thank
talk
you.
soon.
Y'all enjoy y'all day.
You too. And we'll be back after this break. As soon as we come back, we have our guest, Dr. Karen Winkfield. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you get your questions answered by Dr. Karen Winkfield. She's going to be talking about vaccinations. We'll be back after the break.
COVID-19 has hit our community real hard.
We're dying from coronavirus at almost double the national rate.
If we come together, we have the power to save what matters to us, our Black lives.
There's power in protecting your loved ones.
There's power in wearing a mask and social distancing.
There's power in knowing the facts and using your voice.
Let's fight COVID-19. Visit bethepowerofus.org.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort.
to get to know each other,
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor,
It's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. I can't lie and say it was easy. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Hey y'all, hey, good morning again. It is 9:28 on the Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call, and I am your favorite host, Portia Monique. And we have Dr. Winkfield in the building. Can we bring the doctor on? We've been anxiously awaiting her arrival so that we can get it together with these vaccinations. What should we be doing? What should we be not doing? Even if you do get vaccinated, what's the plan of action then? So nonetheless, Dr. Winkfield, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the AM Wake Up Call.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So I'm your host, Portia Monique, and we are talking with you. You are a radiation oncologist. You specialize in the treatment of hematology and breast malignancies. You are also an implementation scientist focused on improving the health outcomes for underserved populations through community engaged research and community-based initiatives designed to improve access to health care, including clinical trials. And you are the executive director at Meharry Vanderbilt Alliance. Welcome to the Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call.
Thank you, Portia. Really appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. We are definitely excited to have you on. Why don't you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do, and get us acclimated to what an executive director does over at Meharry Vanderbilt Alliance.
Yeah, sure. So you mentioned that I'm a radiation oncologist, which is a physician, a cancer doctor. I do treat cancers. You mentioned the blood cancers that I treat, which is the hematologic malignancies and also breast cancer. And instead of using chemotherapy, which goes all over the body, I use x-rays, which provides local treatment. And it really is a way to help reduce the risk of cancers coming back locally. So that's what I do in practice. And you mentioned all this community engagement work that I'd been doing and continue to do. That actually came out of my understanding and realization that Black individuals in this country are dying of cancers at a much higher rate than any other race or ethnic group. Our outcomes are worse. Mm-hmm. We oftentimes have greater incidence, meaning more cases of cancer than any other racial ethnic group. And so I really started to say, what's going on here? What are the barriers to care? Are there challenges? Are there things that are significant and significantly different in the Black community that may impact their ability to access care? And so that began my work around community engagement. And so, while I started out with cancer, as I began my investigation, I started looking right down the barrel of racial injustice. And, that's a huge issue. And that systemic racism goes well beyond the healthcare system, but absolutely impacts our health and well-being. So I decided I wanted to broaden the lens of the work that I do. And hence I came down to the Meharry Vanderbilt Alliance, which is focused on health and well-being in general. So I get to not just focus on cancer, but other issues, but even including the social environment that people find themselves in. And so my work as an executive director is to bridge Meharry, which is a historically Black college and university, with Vanderbilt, and take the best of both of those institutions to do what we can to really help improve the health status of our community.
That's wonderful. Let's talk just a little bit about your day-to-day roles as being executive director over there. What does that consist of? What are your responsibilities and what do you do?
Yeah, most of the time, especially in the COVID era, I'm on Zoom meetings. So I'm doing this most of the time.
Yes.
Look, I'm just starting. It's not even been 6 months since I've been in this role. And community engagement begins with understanding your community. And so I am tasked now with understanding Meharry Medical College. I'm tasked with understanding Vanderbilt University Medical Center. I'm tasked with understanding the community in Nashville, and particularly those communities that have been traditionally disenfranchised. So I'm spending a lot of time meeting with stakeholders, meeting with community leaders, really trying to understand the issues at hand and what the needs of the community is. And I think that's one of the things that people don't understand. Community engagement takes a long time. We need to make sure that we're not just making assumptions about what people need, but that we're really asking them, where are you? What are the things that are important to you? What are your values? And how can I meet you where you are to really start to think about health and well-being in a very different way?
Absolutely, absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, I do lead a team. I have a team here that works with me, and, we're all getting to know each other as well. And that's been fun. And we certainly do research and implementation science. I'm all about doing something and not just describing something. We've known about health inequity and health disparities for centuries, right? Stop describing it. There are too many researchers who spend their lives doing these large database analyses to say, oh, look, these communities do worse. We know that. How about we get through the work and do something about it?
Do something about it. So let's talk just a little bit more about an implementation scientist. Talk about your goals to help improve the health outcomes for underserved populations through your community engaged research and community-based initiatives.
Yeah, so again, I think, while my work started out in cancer, when you go out in the community and you're talking to people and you're saying, what are things that are important to you? What are some of the issues that are coming up? You really find out that cancer is not at the top of their list. They have other things, including, hey, I can't feed my family today, or I can't,
how about that?
Pay my rent, right? There are things that people have in their minds that kind of preempt whether or not they should go and get their mammogram, So part of it is really trying to structure programming, again, to meet people where they are. So as an implementation scientist, I do a lot of work around identifying needs from the community. Again, mine is community engaged research. There are other folks who say, oh, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna look, and I'm gonna do an overview and say, this is what this community needs, and they just go about doing stuff. That's not my approach. I say to the community, what are your needs? And then try to devise a plan with the different stakeholders. And that takes time too, right? You want to have sustainability. Anytime you're addressing an issue, you shouldn't want to say, okay, I'm going to fix this for 3 years. I'm going to fix poverty for 3 years, and then we're going to roll on. Yeah, no. It has to be sustainable, and that does require really strategic planning. And so that's why implementation just means that you are actively doing something about an issue that is designed to help reduce the risks that are associated with that particular environment. And so, again, a lot of my lens is around cancer, but I'm doing this work in HIV/AIDS. I'm doing this work around mental health. There are so many areas that particularly Black communities really need to focus on. And as an implementation scientist, it allows me to design programs that actually can help provide support for communities, families, and individuals.
I love that. And speaking of our Black community and making sure that we get the help that it is that we need, because sometimes, like you said, going to get a mammogram and or a test and or whatever else, just fill in the blank, is probably not at the top of your list if you don't have food to eat, if you don't have a stable environment to live in. Yes. Okay. But let's talk about vaccination. So COVID is still it's alive. It's out there. People are still dying from it. But we have 3 different vaccinations. We got Moderna, Pfizer, and also Johnson & Johnson. To vaccinate or not to vaccinate, that is the question. What is your recommendation for our community and why?
Yes, and yes. Get it. Get the vaccine. Look, I talked about all the issues that are, so we have the greatest health burden in this country, Blacks do, right? I don't care if you're talking about obesity, diabetes, heart disease, we get it all. And again, here's the challenge for me is that people like to talk about it as a race issue. I'm like, no, this is a racism issue. Okay. The reason why Blacks are in the have the worst health status in the nation is because that's by design, right? You think about redlining, you think about the way that we were systematically disenfranchised, and people talk about, well, slavery ended a long time ago, but has it? Right? I mean, there are so many issues that are really right there in our face that are beyond sometimes people's individual circumstance. Here's what's in people's control. You have control over your body. You have control over whether or not you get that vaccine. Let me tell you something. I got my vaccine, my second injection. I had the Pfizer. So I finished up my second injection in February. My first injection, I had no problems. The second one, I had a little bit of chills and then felt a little off for the rest of the day, but otherwise had no problem. Do you know, I am so thrilled to have gotten that vaccine. You know why? Because yet again, Blacks are dying of COVID-related illnesses at a much higher rate. So we need to do what we can to protect ourselves and our families and our communities, because we do not know yet the long-term consequences of this virus. They're already looking at people who have died and seeing that there's changes in their brains and all that sort of stuff. Please do not wait to get COVID and say, oh, I'm just going to get it naturally or whatever. Don't do that, because we don't know what that's going to mean. But these vaccines have been strategically designed to protect us from getting really sick from this virus without having to contract it naturally, because we don't know what that natural infection is going to do long term. So please, 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 if you have the opportunity to get the vaccine, please do.
Well, doctor, so what do we say to the people who may say, well, I just want to get it naturally and I'm just going to roll the dice and see what that brings about? But what do we say to the people who say, hey, I don't necessarily know what this vaccine is going to bring about. I don't necessarily know what the long-term effects of this vaccine are going to do to me. What's the answer to that?
Yeah, you know, so we don't know what the long term of this particular vaccine is going to be, but we can extrapolate, meaning we can use the data that we have from other vaccines to say this is safe. And let me share why. This whole COVID thing has been so highly politicized that people cannot see the science because they keep seeing all sorts of other politics sort of stuff. This is about health and well-being. We have known about the coronaviruses for decades. They are not new. They are not a new family of viruses. They've been studied for a very, very long time. And as you know, a Black woman, Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett, was the one who actually helped to design the current vaccine that we are using, the Moderna vaccine, because she's been studying this family of viruses for over a decade, right? So we know about the viruses. We knew that they had the potential to become a pandemic. And certainly this is a new strain that then just we had to figure out what was the key thing that we needed to focus in on. Similarly, with the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccine, which use mRNA-based kind of systems, those systems have been used for a very long time as well. So there's not a single ingredient that's being used in the vaccine that we don't know about. So we can extrapolate because they've been used for a long time. Now, you know, is there something strange that can happen? Maybe, but that's pretty unlikely. There have been millions and millions of people that have been vaccinated. There's been, you know, you think about the original trials that included, 20, 40,000 people, if you include Pfizer and Moderna, some of those are coming up on a year in terms of, their vaccine. They've really done well. So, you can roll the dice, but I can see, look, I'm a physician. I have colleagues of mine who have had COVID and they're still struggling with their breathing and all kinds of stuff. We see the impact that getting COVID has. Why are you going to roll the dice?
Yeah. Definitely. So Facebook is checking in for you. Jaleesa said, great conversation today. D Shield says, I'm definitely taking it when it's my turn. Jean Bracy said, I'm at the office now getting my vaccine today. So it's definitely recommended. Physician after physician is saying, basically, go get your vaccine. You can trust it. Like you said, it's science. Why roll the dice? The dice?
Yes.
I got my vaccine yesterday. I got my first shot yesterday. I took my mom with me, and it was, I'm not going to lie, I was telling our Facebook audience earlier that it was definitely a nervous situation for me, right? So I was anxious. I just didn't know how to feel about it. And,
Yes.
once we got it, both of us, we were nervous, we were anxious, we were scared. We didn't know what the outcome was,
Yeah.
but, we got it. We woke up today, hallelujah. And, and we can definitely, encourage other people to go get theirs too. And on the
Yes.
same vein of that, there's still breakouts happening, right? So
Yes.
my son, I have a 14-year-old son, he plays basketball. The basketball team had a COVID outbreak. So they're at their
Yes.
dad's and they have to quarantine and they can't come back here until, so
Yes.
it's that part.
Yes.
So
And, here's the deal. Let me tell you, just because you get the vaccine doesn't mean you can slack off on the other stuff, right? So please still wear your mask. Please still wash your hands. Please still socially distance while you can, because again, getting the vaccine does not prevent you from getting COVID per se. We're still learning about that. Okay. That's some of the new data that we're getting. What it does is it prevents you from being hospitalized and from dying of COVID, right?
Okay.
And it prevents you from getting the really bad illnesses that have come with COVID. So it's possible that you can have a vaccine and have completely no symptoms, not have any problems whatsoever, but still be carrying. Okay. So this is why, I think there's been some really not great advice coming out of some places around, oh, you get the vaccine, you can start hanging out again. Yes, you can. I think you can. You can be better about it. But like my daughter has not been vaccinated yet. So I have to protect her, right? She lives in my house. She has not been vaccinated yet. So I still go out. I still wear my mask. I still kind of make sure I'm washing my hands and socially distancing because I don't want to be an unsuspecting carrier. And remember, you talk about all these outbreaks. The more outbreaks we have of COVID, the more chance there is that they're going to become a variant that may not respond to the vaccine. And we see this with the flu, right? The flu virus, we have to kind of make sure every year we get our flu shot, right? Because there are new variants that come up.
Yeah. So let's talk about this before you leave. I know you have to go, but what is the timeline? Because people automatically who get vaccinated feel as if they're free and they don't have to wear a mask anymore. They don't have to social distance anymore. But once you get the first shot of the vaccine, what's the timeline that you need to continue to do those or take those precautions that you need to take in order to remain safe for yourself and those around you?
Yeah. So I actually still tell people until we actually hear from, Dr. Fauci's office, we need to continue to wear our mask and wash hands and all that kind of stuff. So keep doing that. It's been fascinating. The number of flu cases this year down, right? Like substantially. We're not sick in the hospitals. You know why? Because people are masking up and washing their hands. Hallelujah. Right? So we can continue. So part of what we need to do is think strategically. If you're getting the Pfizer or the Moderna, those are 2 injection vaccines, right? Versus the Johnson & Johnson, which is a single dose vaccine. In either case, it takes about 10 days for your body's natural host immunity to start to rev up to the point where you have some limited immunity. For the Pfizer and the Moderna, you're about 50% vaccinated about 10 days after the first injection. Then after you get the second one, then you're up to about 95%. Again, 10 days out. Now that's that's being you protected. Now, so for some people, they're like, I don't want to get on a plane because I'm nervous that I might get COVID and get an infection. For them, 10 days after an injection, if they mask up and still do all that stuff, it's good. Look, I travel for work. And so I was on a plane all the time. And I was traveling before, I got my vaccine and that sort of stuff. But I was like masked up, all kind of craziness. And not to say I still do. I still wipe down my seat. People are probably like, what's up with this chick? I got my whole big thing, like wipes. Girl, look, I ain't playing. I'm not trying to get sick.
Right.
So all I'm saying is, yes, technically 10 days after your second injection, you should have 95% immunity. But like I said, y'all need to continue to protect yourselves, okay? Just do it. Not hurt nobody.
Just do it. Yes.
Do it.
So how do people find out where to get a vaccine? Like if you just don't know, you just don't know. Please let our audience know. Where do you go to find out where you are in the system in terms of being eligible, being able to take the vaccine, all of that good stuff?
Girl, that is a question and a half. So part of the challenge is that every state is different. Every state is different in terms of where they are in the rollout process. Every state is different with respect to how much vaccine they have available. They're all different in terms of what sites you can go to. So what I recommend is that for people to look up the State Department of Health where they live, right? So I'm in Nashville. So I can go to the state of Tennessee and look to see, you just say, state of Tennessee vaccine, and that's one way to do it. You go to the Department of Public Health where you live and figure out, and, they have stuff online if you have access to the internet. Now, there's a digital divide. People in our community don't always have access to the internet. So this is where it's important for, if you do have, the ability to look online, please inform your neighbors. This is where churches and other places where people gather can be helpful. Get the phone number out, because this is part of the challenge. The vaccines become available. There's an expectation that people are going to sign up online, but not everyone has that capacity. So we have to do better. Those of us in healthcare, those of us who are involved in health policy, need to do better protecting the most vulnerable parts of our population. I'm sure you probably had to help your mama with this stuff, right? Because look, I have to ask
absolutely.
How do I do? Like, what do I do? How do I do this? Right? So,
right.
You don't have to do this mess. So we need help. This is where kind of making sure that everyone has access to the care is really important.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely been a pleasure. We can talk all day and night. Thank you so much for coming on and educating our community about the importance of getting vaccinated, what they can and what they shouldn't be doing. Like, y'all should still be masking up and making sure that you wash your hands and all of that. And I wanted to ask you just really quickly, and I know we're running out of time, but those states that opened up, Texas and Mississippi.
Girl.
So what should they be doing down there? Like,
y'all
not vaccinated? Go ahead.
Look, that's okay. So like I said, every state is different. Don't get me started because, I'm trying to be So look, just because the state opens up doesn't mean that we have to change our behavior. Okay.
Yeah.
So I know it's hard because it's starting to get warm out. People want to be out. They're tired of COVID. They're tired of being on the lockdown. And again, you can do things safely. Have I been out to eat at a restaurant? Absolutely. You know why? Because I don't like cooking so much. Can I cook? Yeah, but I don't want to. And sometimes I want to go out and have an adult beverage, So you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to hit a place, right? So here's the deal. Again, mask up. Wash your hands, stay socially distanced as best as possible. The places that I worry about are where the clubs are opening up and people are really smashed in tight. That's the challenge. And so please don't change your behavior because there's some governor or somebody who lifts a restriction. Please keep yourself and your family safe.
Absolutely. And with that, please tell people where they can follow you, your movement, social media, all of that great stuff, because you have done an excellent job today at educating.
Thank you. Thank you, Portia. So I do have a website. It's drkarenwinkfield.com. It's wink like you wink your eye. I'm also on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, and that's at Dr. Winkfield. I also have a podcast. And listen, this month, March is Multiple Myeloma Month, right? And Black people are impacted by multiple myeloma at 2 and 3 times the rate of any other race or ethnic group. Check out our podcast at 3 Black Docs. That's the number 3 Black Docs. You can actually find us on our website. We're on social media. We're going to have amazing information about multiple myeloma all month long. Check us out.
What is multiple myeloma for those people who don't know?
Oh, girl, that's what I'm saying. You want to listen to the pod? Well, look, so very quickly, I do blood cancers, right? So multiple myeloma is one of these blood cancers, and we don't hear about it as much as other diseases because we don't yet have a way to screen for it. And so it's a cancer of one of the white blood cells that's supposed to actually help us with our immune system. You talk about the vaccination. When you get vaccinated, guess what happens? There's a specific cell called the plasma cell that actually gets revved up to make antibodies, which can then defend against these virus particles. Well, guess what? That plasma cell can sometimes go rogue and start making copies of itself that it shouldn't. That's multiple myeloma. And again, the problem with multiple myeloma, it's silent. We don't yet have screening for it. People can just have symptoms like, hey, I'm tired. Or they may say, oh, my back hurts. That's all common. But multiple myeloma, like live in the bone, it can be very painful. And it's a disease we don't yet have a cure for, but people are living longer and longer and longer with it as long as they get the right treatment. And unfortunately, Blacks oftentimes do not. So please check out the podcast.
Check out the podcast, 3 Black Docs, at 3 the number 3 Black DOCS. 3 Black Dots.
Yes.
Follow her on all of their social media at Dr. Winkfield. That's Wink like an I, Winkfield. Excellent. We'll definitely have you back for a segment on Health IQ where we can dedicate an entire hour to learning about all of the things that you know, including vaccinations, including blood disorders, including cancer of the blood, all of it. We're definitely here for. We will announce the date shortly, but thank you so much, Dr. Winkfield, for coming on. We greatly appreciate you. And everything was great. I got chills. Y'all, go get the vaccine. Make sure that you follow Dr. Winkfield, and we'll catch her at a later Health IQ segment. Thank you so much, Doctor. We appreciate you.
Y'all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care. Yes, Facebook, check in 3blackdots.com. Shannon Jackson, yes. Wow, Dr. Winkfield has the voice for radio. Yes, very pleasant tone, and she's very beautiful as well. Y'all checking in for her. You can learn more about Dr. Karen Winkfield at drkarenwinkfield.com and find her on all social media at Dr. Winkfield. Listen, y'all, she came through and she gave us the business. She made sure that we were well informed, we were educated, we know what to do, and we know what we should do, and go from there. I got my vaccine yesterday, y'all. And she said she got both of hers. She did the Pfizer. I did Moderna yesterday. I don't think you necessarily have a choice, but definitely did the first dosage of Moderna. So I'm probably gonna stay put for the next 9 days until she said I'm 50% vaccinated. Then after 30 days, I go back and get my second one, and then I'll be at 95%. This is no joke, y'all. Go get your vaccination. Make sure that you're taking the necessary precautions. Make sure that you're protecting yourself from your family and those around you. Like, we don't want to put anyone in danger. Don't be reckless, right? And just really quickly, I mentioned it to the doctor, but so my son, y'all know my youngest is playing basketball. He like 6'3". Nonetheless, they had a game last Thursday. And they had a COVID outbreak with the team. Someone on the varsity team, he's JV, but someone on the varsity team had COVID. And of course, they needed to alert everyone. We got the call yesterday when we were at the vaccine site. His school called and basically said, hey, did you hear about the COVID outbreak? I'm like, who are you talking to? Now I hear about no COVID outbreak. What are you talking about? And quickly let me know, right? So basically, they said that the team had a COVID outbreak and we need to take the necessary precautions. It just so happened that the boys are at their dad's house, and so they just need to quarantine over there. They need to get the test, and they need to make sure that they're safeguarding themselves. But yes, stay at home. Stay at home, get the vaccine, protect yourself, wear a mask. Even like I told my sons, because they have younger brothers and a sister at their dad's house, I said, y'all wear a mask around the house. Like when you're interacting with everyone else, just wear a mask just as a safety precaution so that you won't, kind of just subject anyone else to the virus. So y'all be safe. Be safe, be safe, be safe. And like D Shield said, stay at home unless it's necessary. It's still a pandemic, y'all. Anyway, it's 9:56 on the Rolling Out AM wake up call. I was going to bring you guys another story, but it definitely is time for positive thoughts. Thank y'all for hanging out with me this morning. It was definitely a pleasure. Thank you to Custom, who was here as well. Thank you to King James, who was in the comments hating. Sometimes our haters fuel us. I'm just saying. But today, my positive thought is dedicated to Tiffany Haddish. Again, if you have not seen her acceptance speech, the way that she found out that she won a Grammy for Best Comedy Album, go look it up. It's on her Instagram page. She was actually on set, and they told her while she was live that she won a Grammy. She was crying. It was heartfelt. It was genuine. It was authentic. But my positive thought is dedicated to her and being in that same vein. So, basically, she just let us know that you have to believe in yourself as much as you can, y'all. This is very, very, very important because this is where it comes from. Believe in yourself as much as you can and put your best foot forward and give the world the best you that you got. Because remember, anything is possible, y'all. Anything is possible. So put your best foot forward and really, truly believe. She said, life, you know, it gets bumpy. Sometimes the road gets bumpy, but you got to keep trotting along. You got to keep taking that next step. You got to keep believing in yourself. And when you find yourself in that space that is unknown and you don't necessarily know which way to go, you at a fork in the road, you're like, I don't know if what I've been doing is the right thing. Continue on, continue to press, continue to move forward, and continue to just take another step, because it will lead you down the road to where you're supposed to be. Like, you just have to trust in the universe and trust that you are doing the right thing and trust that you are on the right path and keep going. Take that next step. Take the next step. And true, like we're gearing up for Poetry Month. I can't wait, y'all, because I love poetry. But like I said before, earlier in the broadcast, life ain't always been no crystal stair. Life ain't always been no crystal stair. And I'm going to leave y'all with this. Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. Terry, if you still out there, I'm doing my poem. But Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. And it says, well, son, I tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time, I've been climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark when there ain't been no light. So, boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on them steps because you find it kind of hard. Don't you fall now. But I'm still going, honey, and I'm still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. Y'all, Portia Monique rolling out AM wake up call. Y'all have a wonderful day. Like Tiffany Haddish said, keep going, keep pushing. Give the world your best self. Believe in you, because you got everything it takes. Keep pushing, y'all. Portia Monique rolling out AM wake up call. Thank y'all for hanging out. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank y'all to everybody. Peace. Can't hear my song. Is my song playing? Everybody, thank y'all. Here dance. Every day we gonna learn to play. Peace.